Today, we're going to tackle Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003 Remake, and, of course, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974 Original. I have to say, I love both of these films. They are the same, but they're different. We'll get to that, but the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of the greatest horror movies ever made, in my opinion. My favorite horror movie of all time is The Shining. This is not far behind. I love this movie. This is one of the best attempts at a remake. In my opinion, one of the best horror remakes ever made. Because they changed the basic storyline, yet threw nods in there, or paid homage to the original. They have new characters, new plot, new situations, and yet still stuck with it being a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie and had that same feel to it. That's what I loved about it. And everyone knows the story of the original, with the 5 friends. Basically, you know, they come upon this house and then, you know, run into Leatherface and then, you know, the family, and get killed off one by one. The remake is very different from that, being that these friends are going to a Skynyrd concert, and they come, you know, they come across a hitchhiker. Now, the hitchhiker thing was done in the original, but, you know, Nubbins or whatever in the original was part of the family of Leatherface. In this movie, it's a girl, and she's basically running from the crazy people. They pick her up in the van, and she's talking all this crazy talk. She says, "You're going the wrong way." She pulls out a gun, and she, you know, shoots herself in the head. And so now, these guys are wondering what to do with this dead body. They call the sheriff, played by Arlie Ermy, which, again, is a great addition. You would think that a character like this wouldn't fit in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, or it would shy away from, you know, Leatherface, as far as, like, taking the focus off of Leatherface. But he doesn't. It adds a whole new dimension. Arlie Ermy plays the sheriff, and he's wacko as well. You get to learn a bit, you know, a little bit about his story, even though you learn a lot more in the beginning. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, you learn a lot more about his story. But in this movie, you get to see that this family, they're all connected in different ways. You know, there's the mother that works at the shop, and then, you know, Arlie Ermy plays the sheriff, of course, and then there's, you know, at the house, at the Leatherface's house, there is the guy with no legs in a wheelchair, and then there's the crazy neighbors in the remake. There's so many crazy people. And you have Jessica Biel, Jonathan Tucker, Mike Vogel, Eric Balfour, and, you know, like I said, Arlie Ermy just adds a whole new dimension to the film. And this is a Platinum Dunes release, okay? New Line Cinema Platinum Dunes, which is like a Michael Bay company. And you would think that that wouldn't be any good, you know, because Michael Bay sticks with the same people. Andrew Form, Brad Fuller, and Steve Jablonsky does pretty much all of Michael Bay's music. Even for the Transformer films, Steve Jablonsky does all that stuff. So he kept Steve Jablonsky for this. And the music is very good. I really liked it. But this was a very, very good attempt at keeping it different, yet throwing nods to the original. Such as the whole hammer to the head scene. The, you know, putting the person on the meat hook. In the original, it was the girl. Leatherface puts the girl on the meat hook. In this one, Leatherface puts a guy on the meat hook. So they just changed the gender, obviously. But it's throwing little nods at the original. Now, the original didn't rely on gore and blood. In fact, a lot of the kills were not shown. You could call them kind of off-screen kills or out-of-view kills. When Leatherface is cutting that guy up on the table, you don't get to see that. You see his movement, but that's about it. When he kills Franklin in the wheelchair, you can hear Franklin screaming, and you see the back of Franklin. You don't see him getting stabbed. You don't see him getting cut up. Use your imagination, and I think that's why it worked so well. This movie doesn't do that. This movie actually shows a lot of the stuff that happens. The guy who takes the chainsaw in the crotch. There is a lot of blood and gore. But I think it suits the way it was shot, the modernization of it. I think it worked. And the portrayal of Leatherface, he's a lot bigger in this. In my opinion, a lot darker than he was in, of course, the original. But I think he was great. It sort of made him intimidating on screen. He had a dirty look to him. He, raggedy clothes and all that stuff. And he, cut people's faces off and put it on, and made kind of a mask out of it. But I loved, it just seems like there was a lot of creativity that went into this remake. And like I said, with the neighbors, Jessica Biel's running over to the neighbor's house, and these weird people also added like a new dimension to the film. It didn't take away anything from Leatherface. It just added. So this movie was a damn good attempt. It wasn't a shot-for-shot remake like the Psycho with Vince Vaughn from the original Psycho, and then they remade that. That was pretty much like a shot-for-shot kind of thing. They even said a lot of the same lines. Horrible movie. They kept this movie different, and I appreciate that. And I love it that much more. So anyway, if I had to choose which one of these I liked more, I would have to say this one. But not by much. Not by much. They're almost equal, in my opinion. But I have to put this a little bit ahead because it's just one of my favorite horror movies of all time. But if I ever had to do a category of remakes, this would definitely be in my top 10, for sure. Anyway, guys, what do you think of these two titles here? Which one do you prefer? Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003? Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974, remake versus original. Let me know in the comments, do a video response, or whatever you want to do, let me know. Alright guys, well, thank you for watching another episode of Remake versus Original, and I will be back with more of these. Hope you guys are enjoying this. Take care.